Hi guys, to be honest, this will be mostly a personal vlog to fill in while my nose heals. I've often been warned to keep my nose out of places that it didn't belong, but alas my last name is Parker. So I inherited the surname, and Nosey, I guess I earned that. For those who aren't familiar with the insult, and it's been applied to me and my camera more times than I can count, it began with, well, no one really knows the true origin, but the most fanciful story associates the term with Matthew Parker, who was Archbishop of Canterbury from 1559 to 1575. And I'm going with this source just because it's colorful. Evidently, he gained a reputation for prying into affairs, religious affairs. Well, what else would an archbishop do? But some people didn't like the direction of his research, hence the nickname Nosey Parker. And this is all well outside my field of expertise, I have to admit. The religious part, I mean, because I felt the wrath of officials who didn't like my questions, in the civic realm, I mean. My wife Amanda is something of an expert on English history, particularly the royal courts, all the juicy details of treachery and debauchery. Parker was the first Church of England Archbishop after Mary Tudor's Catholic reign. But what I gather is he scoured the Church's history books, attempting to distinguish the roots of the English Church from the powers that be in Rome. As I say, I'm not an expert in such things, but this all took place amidst the volatile era of the Reformation, Counter-Reformation, and conflict between various sects of Christianity. But from what I've gathered, Parker's cautious reforms weren't enough for the Puritans, who held a grudge even after Parker's death. I've read one account that claimed they dug up his corpse and threw it on a dung heap during the Roundhead Rebellion against King Charles I. Now, I haven't been able to corroborate that story. Even Amanda hadn't heard of it. And I don't like to spread nasty or nosy rumors. The thing about us nosy Parkers is that we, for whatever reason, can't seem to help ourselves when it comes to digging into stuff, questioning narratives. I often think I should have stuck with photojournalism for that reason. So what did I poke my nose into this time? Well, it's a matter of history, something I've mentioned before, and I did warn a week or two back, I think it was, this was coming. So over a period of decades, I took part in some risky behavior. Besides being a busybody, I mean, but I stuck my nose, and the rest of my face, into the upper atmosphere, heights where UV rays are stronger, or at least less filtered, and where radiation is amplified like a giant solar panel by snow and ice. And now we used to smear our faces in zinc oxide cream, that white goo, but that filter was no match for a sweaty climber. So this is the second time in a year the surgeon has attempted to shorten my nosiness, being as conservative as possible, so as not to, as she put it the other day, flatten my nose too much, or to have to do a skin graft, which would disfigure me even more. So we'll see how it goes this time. You may have seen other videos where I revealed my attempts to ward off precancerous growths on my forehead, for instance, another prominent feature, using a sort of chemo cream. That treatment a couple of years back worked, as far as that goes. But I have tons of those, what are called actinic keratoses. Anyone who's subjected their skin to lots of sun will likely be familiar with these scaly patches that can progress to worse things, as they have on the end of my nose. So yeah, I'm paying now for my youthful adventures. No regrets though. On the ocean, another big mirror, especially as close to the surface as you get ocean kayaking. And on Vancouver's famous clothing-optional Wreck Beach. Sorry, YouTube won't let me post photos of that. I have no idea where I'm going with this. I didn't know I was going there. I had planned some fill-in chats to tide me over until I dared show my face again. And it already takes some daring do to overcome my stage fright, to do this YouTube thing in the first place. But yeah, so the other night, before surgery, I recorded 2 videos that I could edit and post while I healed up. And I'm ashamed to say I totally f***ed them up. I mean, I started editing one of them yesterday, and they just weren't up to my usual standard. I mean, None of my YouTube videos is ever finished in the sense that I'm completely satisfied, that I stomped every bug or mistake, but these were just too rushed, too technically flawed. I realized that the stress and looming date with the surgeon just guaranteed failure. I'll get back to that after the stitches dissolve and my nose doesn't look quite so angry. I do have another couple of other little things in the works. I actually have a pile of stuff on my desk waiting for my return, but I'm not going to stress about those. So I will be poking my nose into more things, including Nikon things, because there seems to be something to investigate there, right? Nikon Z3, anyone? What do you think? What will distinguish it from the last camera, the ZF, besides the body style, I mean? I'm guessing XSpeed 7 processor, 24 megapixels, nothing different there. 6K 60 RAW, yeah. 4K 120 with a crop. 4K 60, full ProRes RAW. New higher resolution EVF, improved LCD, 20 frames per second, 14-bit RAW photos, 120 frames per second JPEG, 1/16,000th shutter speed, 299-point autofocus, 8-stop VR, same as the ZF, CF Express plus SD, all sounds feasible, even probable to me. I won't predict anything more than I'm seeing on Nikon Rumours. For now, anyway. I will say I said the same about the then rumored Z8, chatting to Matt Irwin a year or so back. 6K video would be just fine. I presume it'll be 10-bit internal for this iteration, probably NRAW as per rumor, and ProRes RAW. I'd love to see that. 6K is a nice resolution used by many cinema cameras, right? It adds a bit more flexibility in post-production if you're editing in 4K, for instance. I noticed there's also speculation about yet another possible Nikon registered camera, Z6III. I think it's going to be a great year for Nikon. Not that the Nikon is dead, Puritans will be convinced. They've already got a dung heap waiting. I ran into one such unhappy fellow yesterday. I hope he feels better soon. I should mention something I saw recently. A documentary filmmaker with a heck of a lot more experience than me arguing against higher resolution recording. Several reasons. That 1080p is still fine. It looks great. True enough, depending on the source. Did I mention I've snuck 1080p footage from an older Nikon DSLR into these 4K projects? And it looks great. Everything image-wise doesn't need to be perfect if the overall production redeems itself. Storage for 4K and 8K is a big expense, another reason. And I can certainly attest to that. But why not future-proof if you can afford it? And again, I said this in my very first video on the prospect of 8K video in a Nikon camera, the Z9. It's about having that incredible creative flexibility at the editing stage that makes 4K, 6K, 8K, even 12K such a great footage to work with. Now excuse me while I go shopping for bigger hard drives, but I think it's time to ice my nose. So I hope you'll hang in there while I heal up. One last question for return viewers. You may have noticed I've omitted the little intro and harmonica jingle that I've used for several years. Just something I'm trying out in 2024 for now. I don't know if I'm seeing any difference or anything in retention or repulsion. Are you happy to see it go? Do you miss it? Please let me know in the comments. I promise to poke my nose into more good stuff soon. So if you enjoyed this snippet from my world, please do give it the old thumbs up. If this is your first visit, please do consider subscribing. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss my next investigation. In the meantime, take care. Cheers. We'll see you later.